Hi friends, welcome to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Caitlin and I like to film eyeshadow palette, ranking, and review videos, as well as the occasional other beauty content sprinkled in. So if any of those things sound interesting to you, I highly recommend that you hit that subscribe button because I post 2 videos every single week. And for those of you that are not new here, my face is happy that you are seeing it again. And I look like I rose from the dead. I am so tired. I'm so tired because I woke up at like 3:30 in the morning having this realization that I forgot to do something at work, and then I couldn't go back to sleep because I was like, oh my god, if I go back to sleep, I'm gonna forget to do it, and it was a whole thing. Anyways, I actually got off work early today. So I'm able to film this in the middle of the afternoon because I got all my stuff done on time. So anyways, as you can see by the title of this video, we are going to do a look with, this one's backwards. A look with each of the Melt Cosmetics new Bad Side Zodiac collection. So if you're not familiar, Melt launched 4 mini palettes that are the bad side of the zodiac signs for each like element grouping. So for example, you have Earth, which is for Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and then fire, air, and water, which are for their respective zodiac signs as well. So I don't typically do this, but I'm going to do it today. And when I say I don't typically do this, you may be like, what do you not typically do? Because you do eyeshadow palette reviews literally all the time. What I'm talking about is I'm going to do a look with each palette on each eye, and we're going to crank out these 4 looks today because I don't have a Saturday video planned. And so today is Thursday that I'm filming this, so I'm gonna get this up on Saturday. I'm gonna film this today, edit it tomorrow, it'll be good to go on Saturday. So that's the plan. Anyways, that being said, if you want to watch me create a look with each of the Melt eyeshadow palettes and give you, I'm gonna say first impressions thoughts, because honestly, you can't really give a review unless something's like terrible. It's hard to give a thorough review on like a good quality thing unless it's like beyond like first impressions, right? Like I can't speak to longevity or like just the full thing. So yeah, first impressions. Am I even making sense? Does anybody care? I don't know. But if you want to watch me do an eyeshadow palette, if you want to watch me do a look with these eyeshadow palettes, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It's really helpful. And also, if you're not subscribed, I'd love it if you subscribed. I would love to have more friends. So anyways, let's go ahead and get on into it. I'm gonna prime my lids actually with the About Face primer. I was trying to use up my Smashbox one, but I think I've used it up. I don't really think there's anything left. So we're gonna use this About Face one, and I just placed an About Face order because Gabrielle, I think it's Gabrielle, maybe she goes by Gabby, but Alvarez, a makeup artist on Instagram, literally sucked me into buying that eye gloss and mascara from About Face. And I should have just bought more Shadow Fix primer while I was at it, because then I'd be getting a backup, because I'm pretty sure I don't know if I'm almost out of this one. It's harder to tell. The Smashbox one, like it starts to like flatten, I think is the word I'm looking for. And so it's easier to know that I'm running out of it. Don't look at my nails. If you're looking at my nails, stop it. I ripped off my acrylics and did the thing you're not supposed to do and ripped off my acrylics like I just said. But anyways, it's a big no-no, and I jacked up all my nails and they're not good. So let's talk about these palettes really fast. I'm going to give a couple of disclaimers. One, I am a Melt fan, probably a stan. So it's probably good that I'm not even really going to give these palettes reviews. I have given honest thoughts on Melt palettes. Like I will say if I'm like, oh, this one you gotta finesse it. But there's something about the tones that they use in their shades that just I love. And I've never had the issues with their palettes that I feel like other creators have had. So I'm not as like quick to go, it's like not that good. So anyways, I just want to give that caveat, because if you're here and you're wanting to have somebody tell you like, no, these palettes suck, don't buy them, that's not going to be me. Even if they require extra bit of work to make them work, I'm going to tell you that it is what it is and I don't really care. So that's just the one disclaimer. The second disclaimer is that I am a big fan of astrology and zodiac signs and things like that. My husband doesn't buy into it, but I tell him stuff about himself all the time. My husband is a Virgo. So my husband's a Virgo. I'm an Aries. So I think we're going to start with these two bad boys because that feels right. I'm going to start with my sign. This is the Bad Side Zodiac Fire Palette. So this is for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Listen, the bad side that they picked for mine. So here, I'll show you the inside of the palette. This is what it looks like. Oh, what I wanted to compare it to, I wanted to see if these pans were bigger or the same size as Amor y Mariposas. Because I felt like that's when they switched to kind of the circle pans. Eyeballing it, I feel like they're bigger. Let me see if there's any information. Don't have any information on the Amor y Mariposas, like, size. Let's look at the melt one. It is 8 grams and 0.28 ounces per pan. And I don't think their other palettes say that. Yeah, you can only find that information, I'm guessing, like on their website or on the box. And I don't have the box for any of their palettes anymore. I always get rid of the boxes. So I don't know. I was going to try and compare it like size-wise and see if anybody knows like what the ounces were for their other shadows. Let me know in the comments. I'd be curious. Like I said, 0.28 ounces for these. Open container is 12 months. These are distributed out of California, but they are made in Italy. These are labeled eyeshadow palettes. They are not, I'm not seeing anything about them being cruelty-free or vegan. Let's see, some of the shades have talc in this fire one. Some of the shades have talc. I don't see anything. It says may contain mica and carmine. Yeah, these aren't going to be vegan palettes. So anyway, sorry this is hectic. I'm just like all over the place. But anyways, this is what the inside of the palette looks like. The pans are the circle pans instead of their vertical rectangular pans. I do love that format, so it does make me a little bit sad that they switched over, but have they launched a palette between Amor y Mariposas in this? I can't remember. When did... I don't think they have. So I think they've like made the switch over to the circle pans. Anyways, the inside of this palette says, for the main character you think you are. And it's the shade names are Drama Queen, Too Much, Bossy, Ego Trip, Hothead, One Upper, Arrogant, and Revenge. And to be honest, those all probably apply to me, if I'm being honest with myself. So if you watched my Nomad Cosmetics Hudson Valley palette, then you will recall, possibly, that I don't love red eyeshadow. And so it infuriates me to no end that every single like fire sign or Aries themed palette is just red eyeshadows. So that bugs me. I do like that they added like some browns in here, so it's a little bit more rusty and not just like straight up red, orange, and yellow. But I just like, I don't know. I just wish there was a way to do a more interesting color story for the fire signs, but I get it. I do think the shade Ego Trip, which is this like red sparkly shimmer, I will say when I looked at pictures online, I thought that was a hot pink shimmer, and I was very excited that there was potentially like a hot pink shade in the fire palette. I thought that would have been interesting, but anyways, it's not. It's red. So what I'm going to do a smoky eye with this palette because, to be honest, that's just what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start with the shade Revenge. I feel like this video is going to be like really long. Okay, so this is an exact blend brush from Sigma. It's the E32. I'm taking the shade Revenge. I haven't even swatched these yet. I only took like some like product pictures and videos. Oh, I guess I'm going to do this on the right eye. I forgot that I'm only doing one eye. Whew, that was almost bad. I was about to go in to both. So glad I remembered before I did that. So I'm just packing this all over the lid. It's got nice, like, I'm laughing because I was about to say it's got nice, like, pigmentation, but it just has nice pigmentation. I'm sorry, I've been saying, like, so much in my videos. I've been trying to get away from it. I think it gets worse when I'm tired. I don't know. Am I trying to make excuses for myself? Probably. Like, to be honest, I could just, like, blend that and just, like, be like, yeah, that looks good. Yeah, I mean, that's, like, that is quite pigmented. Okay, so then I want to go in with the shade One Upper, I think. So I'm going to take this 043, which is a brush from Real Techniques and Victoria Lynn. It's like a flat, fluffy brush. Oh, you know, I'm going to go Hothead instead of One Upper. Because I skipped the red shade in the Nomad palette, and I just think I need to not shy away from the reds. Let's just go for it. So I'm just putting this over the edge of where Revenge is. There was some fallout of that red shade onto my lid, so I'm just going to retap Revenge all over because I want to make sure that stays where I would like it to. Okay, so then we're going to go in with the shade, I think Too Much, which is like the lighter orange, and we're going to use that to blend it out. I have this random fluffy brush that I got off of Amazon, and this is the shade Too Much. I feel like a fall leaf again with these colors. I think that's really pretty. Yeah, I mean, that blended really nicely. I'm not gonna deepen up Revenge because I'm planning on just going in with the shade Ego Trip on the lid anyway, so there's no real reason to keep deepening up Revenge. I just wanted to see like how that blended out. And actually, I'm gonna go back in with the same brush. I'm using my color switch to get the shade Too Much and what we just blended out off. But I'm gonna take the shade Drama Queen, which is the really light yellow shade. And I'm just gonna go at the very edges with that because I felt like there was room to add some more yellow. And then I'm gonna go back in with Too Much just a little bit. All right, so now I'm gonna take the shade Ego Trip. I am gonna put it on a flat brush, and I am gonna spray the brush with Fix Plus because that's what I wanna do. So this is a Real Techniques blurring brush. Doesn't really seem like it's supposed to be for eyeshadow, but whatever. Okay, so I grabbed a lot of that shade Ego Trip, spraying that with Fix Plus. Putting that over the lid. I feel like the darker base is just going to help, like, I don't know, amp up that shade a little bit more, because usually shades tend to have more of an effect when they're over a darker base, but this might not have been dark enough. It's more of like a black when that happens. I'm not sure. I mean, that definitely changed the whole vibe of the look. I'm glad I went in with the shade Hothead because I feel like that blends better into this. And then I'm going to, I mean, honestly, I don't hate this. This doesn't, like, it looks fine. You're like, oh, what a resounding recommendation. I don't hate this. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't. Let me see if I put Ego Trip on the finger. Does that help? It's just not that exciting. Let me take the shade Ooh, Arrogant looks cool. Okay, I'm putting some Arrogant on the inner. Yeah, Arrogant is a better shimmer, I think, than Ego Trip. Ego Trip's a little bit, like, not quite satiny, but like almost borderline satiny. Yeah, I like that better. Now that I added Arrogant, I like that much better. Okay, so that's the gist of the look, basically. I'll probably do both lower lash lines, like, off camera and just kind of walk through just for the sake of saving time, but I essentially used every shade but Bossy and One Upper. So there you go. So that's what we did with the initial look. Okay, on the other eye, we're gonna take the Earth palette, and let me just say, two of my favorite people in the world are Virgos. And one of my youngest sister is a Taurus, and she's one of my other favorite people. So anyways, I have two sisters that are Virgos and Tauruses. Virgo and Taurus. Anyway, and then my husband's a Virgo. I've always gotten along with Virgos. Like Virgos and we just click. So anyways, anything I say about this Virgo palette is said with love, because I love Virgos. I was just looking at any differences in ingredients. Still says may contain mica and then carmine. There are some shades in this palette that have talc, and yeah, it's the same gist otherwise. So the Virgo palette looks like this, and it says the only right way is your way. We know. It says Heart of Stone, way harsh, overcritical, know-it-all, RBF, materialistic, type A, and stubborn. Now, I feel like the shade materialistic is kind of similar to the shade arrogant from the... no, arrogant's warmer, which makes sense. It's the fire palette. But anyways, this is what the shade materialistic from the earth palette looks like. This is what the shade arrogant from the fire palette looks like. So as you can see, one's like much more of a red, the other's more of a brown. Given their respective names, that probably makes sense. I just want to make sure that, like, if these palettes are kind of like duplicating themselves, like, do you need to grab all four? I grabbed all four because I can't make decisions. So let me see. Those are really the only shades that looked similar between the two. Okay, so I really love this color story because, like I said, I vibe with Virgos. But the know-it-all shade, overcritical, way harsh, like, how am I supposed to pick which one I want to use? I don't know. I'm going to do something interesting. I'm not trying to make these looks match because, I don't know, that would be hard. I want to do like creative looks with each palette, and I don't want to feel like boxed in by trying to make them match. I'm swatching the shade Know It All. I know I said I didn't swatch. Oh, this is so pretty. This would look really pretty on the inner corner of my fire look. That's pretty. That shade's pretty. And I want to do just like a really simple look now with just that shade. Like, you could just take RBF in the crease, Know It All on the lid, and be done with it. And that would be super easy. But that would also be boring for the purposes of this video. So I'm going to take RBF, which is the, like, I don't know, what do you want to call that? Like a blushy terracotta shade. And I know people said that they felt like there wasn't enough green in the earth palette, but I think way harsh and overcritical are kind of deceiving. They are very, like, in person, they look like they have like a really green tone to them, even though they're more of like a yellow or gold. Okay, RBF is pigmented. Blend it out pretty easily. No issues there. And then I'm actually going to go in with the shade Stubborn, which is like the gray taupey shade. I don't know, I just kind of feel like that might give us an interesting little tone situation. Because I want to add type A, but I don't want to just blend like a peach into a purple. I feel like I do that a lot. So I felt like going in with Stubborn, which is more like this cool tone taupey brown, might be interesting to see how these shades pair together. I mean, it's really just performing like a darker brown. I don't know what I was expecting. I mean, that's nice. At least, you know, these two shades blend in okay together. Kind of hoping something weird would happen, but I don't know what I was picturing or thought that would be, but it worked out okay. Now I'm going in with the shade Type A, and this is I didn't tell you any of these brushes I was using. First one was a fluffy BH Cosmetics brush. Second one was a Sosu X Kaylee SK02 brush. Now we're going in with a Morphe M506 brush in the shade Type A. I know I've only used each palette and shades in the palette once so far, but I think the Virgo palette might be my favorite, which is so annoying because I know the Virgos are just going to be like, or I shouldn't say the Virgo palette, I keep saying just the Virgo palette. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, the earth signs are all going to be very vindicated that their palette's the best, because of course it is, right? Taking another BH Cosmetics brush. This is a flat brush. I'm going in with the shade Overcritical. I'm picking that up on my brush and spraying that with Fix Plus. Ooh, this reminds me of the shimmer I used in the Nomad Cosmetics palette that looked like a green gold in pan, but then on the eye it was like straight up gold. That's what this is reminding me of. So I retract what I said about this being more of a green shade because it's definitely gold. Okay, so I'm going to take the shade Know It All as well. And I'm going back in with the shade, what shade is that? Type A, to just blend over where Know It All went. Yeah, I think Know It All helped blend the purple and the yellow together. So anyways, I'm going to clean up this face, do some eyeliner, do my base makeup, and then I'll come in and show you the finished looks, and then we'll move on to the air and water palettes. So be right back. Here are the finished looks. I obviously added some liner. I tried to go for like a fire effect with my liner over here. It's like a Monet kind of fire, I feel like. And then I added green liner here. I did a different color of green liner in the waterline. Hold on, let me just tell you what I used. I used the Glisten Cosmetics and Rowie Sing collab. This is the Artist palette, so it's a split liner palette. So on this eye, I used this shade down here, this orange, and this yellow, and I just kind of went back and forth to give it the fiery effect. And then on this eye, I used this green, dark green shade here, and then in my waterline, on this eye, I used the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in Teaspoon. On this eye, my waterline is the About Face liner in Birds of Paradise. And then what lashes do I have on? I have the Intangible lashes from Unearthly Cosmetics. I have the Melt Cosmetics Santa Cruz bronzer, and then the Melt Cosmetics Monarcha blush palette on my face. And then I have the House Labs highlighter in Peach Quartz as my highlighter. And I did highlight the inner corner over here because this palette didn't really have a bright enough shade for the inner corner. I was able to use the yellow shade over here. So these are the initial looks with these two palettes. Let's go ahead and do my other looks with the air and water palette, and then I'll give my overall thoughts. Lighting might change because I am going to go make and eat dinner, and then I'll come back and do my other looks. So I'm at least going to enjoy these a little bit longer. Okay, I've been sufficiently fed. I did wipe this eye look off, or the eye looks off. Obviously, a little bit of staining with the red. Some of the red, when I wiped it off, got into my eyebrow, but we're here. We're going to keep going. So I'm torn on which one to start next. If I'm being totally honest, these were the two palettes that I wanted out of the four the most. I will say I really like the Earth palette, and I did want that one. Basically, I wanted I wanted water, earth, air, and the only one I didn't want was fire, but I bought it because it's my sign. So there you go. Anyways, I just don't like red eyeshadow. So we'll just start with air because it's the one I picked up. So this is for Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and it says, "We'll wait while you overthink this," which I love. One of my best friends is a Libra, and she 100% overthinks things. Shade names are Frivolous, Indecisive, Ghosted, Two-Faced, Mind Games, Flaky, Chismosa, which means gossip, and Reckless. So this one has a really interesting like purple-pink duochrome, and if you know me, you know that I love purple eyeshadow. But I did this in one of my Nomad looks, but I'm trying to give you guys I'm trying to give you all different like shadow shapes. So we did sort of like a smoky eye and tapped the shimmers over it, and then we did like the normal half cut crease situation. Oh, I just rubbed off all of my foundation. I'm gonna do my smoked out liner, and then tap over it with maybe just Reckless, but I'll maybe add Flaky too. But I'm gonna go with the bottom half of this palette. That's all the purples. So first we're gonna start with Mind Games on a 056 angled liner brush from Real Techniques. Oh, there is a little bit of fallout. I didn't really want to redo my base makeup, so that's unfortunate. Normally I do my eyeshadow first, so fallouts doesn't bother me until except for in this moment right now. So now I'm gonna take the shade Chismosa and smoke this out a little bit. This is a Milk Cosmetics Beetlejuice brush. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a blending brush, but it's pretty small in shape. It's really nice. I don't mean to like sell you on it when they don't sell it anymore, but if Melt launches brushes, they're really good. I'm just saying, I buy them every year that they come out with some brushes. So I kind of like blended that into the crease a little bit. Part of me I'm gonna try something new with this. I'm gonna take Mind Games again on that same angled liner brush, and I'm going to, I don't know, try and create like more of like a graphic look, I guess, with this, because I'm trying to do liner up at the top and the bottom. But I kind of want to make it like more like downturned, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to go in with Chismosa. These are really pretty purples, and I feel like they're quite a bit different than the purples they had in the She's in Parties palette. Like, I just feel like they're not quite the same. I'm going to take a big fluffy brush without any eyeshadow on it, just to soften these edges a little bit more, because that purple Chismosa is pigmented. This is a Morphe M441. And I know it looks like I have a light purple shadow on it. That's because this brush is stained, but I promise I don't. So now I'm just gonna go in with Reckless on the finger, and I'm just gonna want to tap that over the center and like over where the liner is at the bottom. Oh yeah, that's really pretty. I don't want this video to be like a million years long, so I think I'm gonna do swatch comparisons for the palettes over on TikTok. Maybe I'll post them as shorts too. If I can keep them under a minute, I will. If not, TikTok is where they will be, and my TikTok is Caitlin House Makeup. You should go follow me there. I try to be consistent in posting like different content on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. So, okay, because I love purple eyeshadows, I figured this palette was going to be my favorite, but I really like how this look turned out. I don't know, I've never done anything like it, but I think it's fun. I like it. So, there we go. All right, now let's go into the water palette. This is Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. This one's my favorite. What it says stop crying, it's not that deep. Made me laugh. The shade names are Manipulative, Secretive, Moody, Trust Issues, Emo, Ugly Crying, Dead Inside, Possessive. And this one, oh, I didn't read it for the Air palette either. Let me look and see if there was anything different. It says may contain carmine and mica on the Air palette. On the water palette, it does not say anything about containing carmine or mica. But it does say that it contains talc. Oh no, it does say may contain mica. Oops. May contain mica. So yeah, anyways, they all contain talc and may contain mica, and then I didn't see anything in the blue palette about anything with carmine, but it's all, none of these are labeled as vegan or cruelty free, so that is that. If they are vegan and cruelty-free, it's just not on the packaging. I don't know. Double check Melt's website. But listen, my girl Daria did a reverse smoky eye today, and she said that I inspired her to do it. And so now she is reverse inspiring me to do a reverse smoky eye with this palette, because I just want to do something different. But these like blues and aqua teals are calling to me. I think this palette, I don't know, this purple is really nice. I'm not sure. These are good. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to start with Ugly Crying in the inner corner. I feel like a reverse smoky eye in this color scheme is going to give very fish vibes, because it's like a blue and teal, but that's okay. These eyes are going to look so different at the end of this. I'm like not even like trying to like make these look somewhat similar. Did I say what brush I was just using? Nope, I did not. It's a Sosu X Kaylee SK07 And now I'm going in with a ColourPop E17. I'm going to go in with the shade Emo. The first shade I used was Ugly Crying, if I didn't say that. I'm going to go in with Emo. Oh, this palette is nice. Okay, this is really, really pretty. This makes me feel even more sad about the Fire palette. It was not this exciting. It's not a competition, even though I feel like it is. Okay, so next up we're gonna go with Trust Issues on a fluffier brush. This is gonna be another Melt Cosmetics brush. It's a round transition brush, number 85. All of my brushes are dirty. I've said this for weeks. They're still dirty, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I don't have time. So Trust Issues on this one. Just blending that out. I love how this is like a dingy, like murky blue teal color. It is absolutely perfection. Absolutely perfection. That was really good English. It's absolute perfection or absolutely perfect. Those were my options on that. Okay, I'm bringing this all the way out because I was going to use that light taupey brown, but I changed my mind. I don't care anymore. Winging that out, and then I'll bring the other blues further over. Part of me wants to leave this at like an all matte look because I think this looks so pretty. But I must continue. Okay, again, these shades are just so pigmented that I kind of consistently need to blend this with a fluffier brush to soften the edges because I'm pasty. So these just are like really vibrant on my skin tone. So let me take this as a Sigma Cinderella tapered blending brush in E40. I don't have any product on it. I'm just using it to soften that. Okay, now, like you could do this. You could leave this like this, or you could, I don't know why I'm continuing to like go back and forth with these because I've decided I'm going to add the shimmers. But I just want to say that like you could have this just be your look. You could do it the reverse way where the dark is like blue is just on the outside. But we have some really pretty shimmers here. So we're going to put the shimmers on the lid because why not? I'm testing this palette. I should be able to apply all the shades. I feel like these mattes might be really fun, like in all the palettes with my Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 4 palette, because especially the Fire palette, maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe if I combine the Fire palette with some of the like reddish orange tone shades in the Danessa Myricks palette, maybe I'll like that one more. Because the mattes aren't bad. I like the tones of them. I actually like that they're like... I'm not supposed to be giving you my thoughts. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, let's start with the shade Dead Inside. Spray that with Fix Plus. That shade is absolutely beautiful. It's like a inky, like, it really looks like the depth, like deep part of the ocean. Then we're gonna go in with the shade Moody. Oh, this is such a pretty shimmer shade. This palette is so... I don't know why I just said that with an accent. This palette's really nice though. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, I am going to add the shade Manipulative. This is a BH Cosmetics. It's a number 4 brush, but it's just like a black brush with like kind of a fat base. So I'm taking the shade Manipulative. This shade feels kind of creamier than the others. Or at least like my brush sort of dipped in a bit more. Oh, I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to do the same thing on the lower lash line where I don't think I told you. I think I told you guys what I did on the lower lash line for the last looks. Ow. Well, it's a little too late, I guess. I mean, I'll explain it now if you care. I just did the 2 green mattes on the bottom of the lower lash line of the Earth look. And then on the Fire look, I just took Hothead and Drama Queen and blended that out. So I kept it pretty simple. But anyways, hopefully I did say that and I can just edit that part out. But anyways, I'm going to do the lower lash line and all that jazz and then I'll come back because I feel like that's not as fun to watch and I need to try and speed this video up where I can. Before I forget, let's talk about what I put on the lower lash line. So I did the exact same mats that I did up top, I did on the lower lash line, the end, on the water look. And then I put in my waterline the About Face liner in, what is it called? Why can I not read? Oh, Call Me Crazy. And then on this one, I did the 2 purple mats that I used before. I did that. I did forget to do my inner corner, so let's do that really fast. I'm going to take the shade Reckless, put that on the inner corner. There we go. Now we're finished. And then I did take the shade Flaky, that dark purple, and I ran that along like where I did the liner earlier to like deepen that up a little bit. And then I have the About Face liner in the shade Devil's Diary in my waterline over here. I have the same base products that I had before. I just redid them. But anyways, all 4 looks are done. Oh, I'm wearing the same eyelashes from Unearthly as well. But anyways, all 4 looks are done. Let me know which of the 4 palettes you felt like had the best look. So like which of the 4 looks you liked the best. And let's get into my thoughts on these, and we will go in order that I did the looks, because I have different thoughts on different palettes. First of all, somehow got fingerprints all over this already, so I'll have to try and clean that off. Let me just talk about the palettes in general. They are $38. They are smaller. Like, I have my Radioactive palette right here. These were their prior 8-pan palette size. So it's like a tiny bit taller, but like just barely. It's like just a hair taller. Or I don't know if taller is the right word, but like this way. See? It's like a little bit longer or taller, whatever. And then obviously this is longer, taller, however you want to describe that. I don't know. But these are, like I said, it doesn't have the size or like the ounces, so I'm not sure. But overall, $38, that size that I just held up with the Radioactive, that was $48, so $10 less. I do believe you get less product just based on the pan sizes, but to be honest, I've not even hit pan on a single melt eyeshadow ever. I feel like it's almost like too much product in those pans, so I don't mind the smaller pans. I said the same thing with the Amore Mariposas. I'm fine with less product. I don't need a ton of eyeshadow. It overwhelms me because I like to buy eyeshadow palettes and try new ones. I don't need a ton of eyeshadow product in my pans. But anyways, I know everybody has different opinions on that. So just a reminder, this is the color story. I will say this is the most boring of the 4 color stories. I do feel like this has some similar shades to some of the other melt palettes I have. Like Rust and Vita are kind of coming to mind. I feel like Melt tends to do these like warmish tones quite a bit, but these shimmers are better than some of the matte shimmers I've tried. So this isn't my least favorite melt palette by any means. I think it's good. I think the quality of it is really nice. I wish this shade was less satiny and more of like a bright, like I said, I thought it was a hot pink shimmer in pictures and I was really excited for this. If this was a hot pink shimmer, I feel like that would be fun. And like a different take on like a fire color story. As a fire sign, if any of you makeup brands are watching this and you're going to do more Zodiac collections, stop with the reds and the oranges. Like, we don't want it. I'm so tired of it. So anyways, there we go. And you know what's funny is Aries, I feel like even, I'm going on a tangent now, but like when brands do like sign specific palettes, Aries is always red. Like always. Like I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're a Leo or a Sagittarius, I feel like you get slightly different color stories. You don't always get the red, orange, yellow. Aries always gets red, orange, yellow. Anyways, I digress. I liked the look I created with it. Oh, this is what I was going to say earlier when I was like going off on a tangent while I was doing my looks. But I liked that this red isn't like bright red eyeshadow, because I do not like bright red eyeshadow. It just gives me Gerard Way vibes, and that's not my vibe. I'm like scarred from middle school. Sorry, you can hear my dog walking on the wood floor. But anyways, yeah, so I liked Hothead. I will say I liked it. I feel like that's, I don't like using the term wearable. I've said this before, but if you can put it on your face, it's wearable. But it's more of a subdued and a subdued red, I guess, is the word is the best word I have for that. I would feel like I could wear that and not look like Gerard Way. It's really like, let's just That's it. Okay, so the Earth palette is this one. I absolutely adore this color story. I think this is amazing. I think this palette will be so good for like just I have so many ideas. Like you could do like these three like these two like yellow greens with this green. I think that would be a stunning look. I think Know It All and RBF together would be amazing. You could just do Over Critical and Way Harsh together for like that. I think Materialistic and then Stubborn Type A, like I think that'll combine together. Anyways, I just have a lot of ideas for this palette. So I think this is the most interesting, not interesting, this is the most inspiring color story for me because it's less monochromatic and I feel like there's a lot of options here and you could be pretty creative with this palette even if it only has 8 pans. So I really do like this one. Like I said earlier, I'm pretty sure this is the best palette out of the 4, which is so annoying because, and this is me speaking from experience from my Virgos, of course they're gonna like sell, like just be irritating that they have the best palette. Kennedy and Tyler, if you're watching this, I better not see any comments from the two of you down below. Anyways, the Air palette. This is another favorite of mine. I love purple eyeshadow, and I think these pinks are so pretty. I didn't use any of the pinks, but let's swatch Frivolous and Too Faced. Ooh, Too Faced feels kind of like that satiny texture like the one in the Fire palette, but I think I like it. It almost has like a duochrome flip to it. Ugh, those are so pretty, and those would pair so nicely together for like a color, like a cute corally look. So I do feel like this palette, I would say, is the, if I'm rating my palette, if I'm rating them, I would say Earth is number 1 just because I feel like there's a lot of option there, but this one is number 2 because there's also a lot of options here. You can go for like the all pinks. You could go for the all purples like I did. You could mix and match them. You could probably pair Reckless with one of these pink shades. Like, I like this palette a lot. I have some ideas for this one too. Next up is the Water palette. And I really like this one too. Like I was saying, I really like the tones of this. I am wondering if these blue tones are similar to the blue tones in the Muerte palette, which I also love. I will say these shimmers perform better than my Muerte shimmers. I don't know if that's because my Muerte palette is old at this point, or if it's just that Melt improved on their shimmer formula. So I will say I think these shimmers are nicer, but that color story is pretty similar. I love the inclusion of these neutrals, and I know blue and brown is not revolutionary by any means, but I just think the tones of these are really nice. So I like this one a lot. To be honest, it's not even that far of a gap like between these 3. Like I think these 3 are all really, really nice. I think you got to decide like what you have in your collection, if any of these are worth it for you. If you have to pick one, I'd go off of which color story speaks to you the most. And like I said, the Fire palette is not a bad palette. It's just that color story is not my favorite. And I think I've made that clear, and I'm not going to continue to harp on it. But if you like those warm colors and tones, I don't think the quality of that one's bad by any means. I think those mattes are really nice. I wish the one shimmer shade was a little bit more sparkly, but I think it has like a nice tone to it. It's called Ego Trip. Arrogant is a really, really nice and good quality shimmer. So, and when I say good quality, I mean like upon initial application. Obviously, I only wore the other look for like an hour and a half. I'm going to immediately take this one off after I take pictures. So I don't really know about longevity. I've never had an issue with longevity with any of with any of Melt's palettes. So do with that what you want. I think they have a good formula. And yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you thought about this collection. I know a lot of people skipped it and they were not thrilled about it. I like it. I am happy to have all 4. If any of you are anything like me and you're like, oh, I really like 3 of the 4 palettes, are you able to just buy 3 of the 4? Because I physically cannot. If I like 2 out of 4, I can maybe make that work. If I like 3 out of 4, I've got to buy them all. Like I can't do that kind of stuff. And all the palettes qualities were really nice. I think there's, you just got to look for what you want, if you want them, or if you don't and you already have stuff in your collection, more power to you, man. If you have more willpower than me, good for you. That was me bowing down in case that wasn't abundantly clear. That's it for me today. Let me know what you thought, and I will see you all next time. Bye!